Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video. Make sure you smash that like button down below and hit the subscribe button if you are new. As you guys know, we are currently shadow banned. Data shows we have a negative 93% impression advantage rate, so make sure you interact with this video in any way possible to help it in the algorithm to continue to grow our audience here. So today we're sitting here approximately 61 days into the Biden administration. And Joe Biden already has a big scandal on his hands. He has a big crisis that he has to deal with. And it is a crisis that mainly he had created to begin with. And it's revolving around the border and immigration and asylum seekers coming into this country. And I will say this, one of the main reasons why I was so vehemently against Joe Biden in the 2020 presidential election were because of his abysmal immigration policies. And the voters took notice because of the people who said their most important issue to them was immigration. They backed Donald Trump by 90% according to the exit polling. This is an increase over the 2016 totals. Trump did extremely well in 2016 among this demographic, but he did even better in 2020, even though it was a bit of a smaller proportion of the electorate. And Joe Biden, in regards to amnesty, in regards to his weak policies at the border, and you look at Democrats in the past, even Obama in 2012, you look at Bill Clinton back in the 90s, on the issue of immigration and illegal immigration, they were tough at the border, they were. An overwhelmingly high amount of Democrats voted to put fencing on the border in 2006. But when Donald Trump came along, that all changed. Democrats moved even further to the left on the issue of immigration, particularly illegal immigration, as well as legal immigration. But this video is mainly talking about illegal immigration and illegal border crossings, as well as asylum seekers. And when Biden's going to sit there and tell everybody to come in, he's going to amnesty everybody, what does it do? The people in Central America, they're going to start pouring into this country. We're not going to have a border. He's going to be out here essentially giving out free amnesty to all of these people. It's a sign of weakness. You can listen to this clip of him at the Democrat debate back in the 2020 primary season, and you can listen for yourself. Take a listen.
I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are. We're a nation that says if you want to flee and you're fleeing oppression, you should come.
And this exactly proves the weakness, the neoliberal establishment type of rhetoric. They want to pour everybody into this country because it benefits them, not just electorally, but also economically. The mega donors use the cheap labor that pours into this country. That's why you see an increase of amnesty legislation being pushed through the House, and even some neocon Republicans are voting for it. That's why you see the H-2B visas getting extended. They say it's a labor shortage. They don't want to have a program that buses workers where there's an excess into areas that don't have a worker surplus. No, they don't want to do that. They want to import the labor, mainly because of, electoral purposes. In terms of what the Democrat politicians want, because a lot of these immigrants, when they come into the country, they're voting 80-20 for the Democrat Party. And Biden knows this. And when you look at his initial policies and what he did when he first got into the White House, he suspended the Donald Trump immigration moratorium for COVID. So even though we have an increasing unemployment rate because of a pandemic, no, it doesn't matter to Biden. Biden wants to open the borders throughout the whole entire process because he wants to pour voters into the country, because these people will benefit the Democrats because they'll be voting in such high numbers for Joe Biden and for people who represent the same agenda that Joe Biden represents. And it doesn't just stop there. Biden, again, in terms of the COVID issue, another hypocrisy, talking about slowing the spread. He's going back to letting in 1 million immigrants per year, but also he's letting COVID-infected illegal aliens loose in several states. That is not something that is beneficial to slow the spread whatsoever. You're seeing massive numbers of people that are pouring into our southern border. They're pouring into our country, and they're seeking asylum claims. And we don't have the space for them. This country is largely full at the border. And you can look at these pictures here where you have t-shirts that say Biden let us in. This is an astroturf. This seems astroturfed, and you can tell. And if you want to look at the data, if you want to look at the cold hard facts surrounding this, 321 children per day, were referred to HHS custody by Border Patrol in the week ending March 1st. That compares to 47 children per day in the first week of January. So this is ballooning significantly. Shelter system is at 94% occupancy and expected to reach its maximum this month. HHS has already moved to open overflow shelters. The number of migrants held by Border Patrol longer than 3 days has been rising nearly each day. And kids and teens crossing the border without legal guardians are being held in Border Patrol facilities for more than 3 days, which is an average of 77 hours. So we talk about the whole kids in cages. You're having kids in essentially storage sheds, but also cages and cage facilities, and these facilities that are not very sanitary. They're getting overcrowded. I don't see AOC going down there to complain. I don't see AOC doing a photo op in front of a parking lot fence for Joe Biden, because it was never about actually caring about the children at the border. It never was. It was mainly about a political power play, even though it didn't seem to work out in their favor in regards to Hispanic voters, as you saw the massive trend in South Texas significantly to the right, Trump getting margins in some counties that even George W. Bush in 2004 couldn't even dream of among Hispanic voters. But if you want to look even further into the data at the border, it is getting very out of hand. If you look at 2019, the peak was in early 2019 at the border. You saw a massive rise of asylum claims, and then you saw, after May, you saw there be a specific policy, remain in Mexico policy, zero tolerance policy put into place under Trump. Some Democrats called this inhumane. However, the numbers dipped significantly, going from 144,000. A few months later, it was at 52,000. And then in 2020, you see this massive dip all throughout the year, especially throughout the whole coronavirus pandemic. However, when Biden becomes president, that is specifically when you see this massive surge. In November, 72,000, and now up to February, it's over 100,000. So whether if Biden is to blame or not, which fundamentally speaking, he does arguably bear a decent amount of the blame given his rhetoric surrounding the situation, given his policy surrounding the situation. And when they knew Trump was going to get out of there, that's when they came to the border. That's when they specifically started to apply for asylum, and it got out of hand. And when Biden took office, it got out of hand even more so, rising up above 100,000 and climbing. The amount of 2021 enforcement encounters at the border already has almost passed the 2020 totals. Within the end of March, it will have passed the 2020 totals, as you can see here on this chart. And the Biden administration, from what we understand, does not seem to care. They don't care that the amount of migrant children at the border has tripled in the past 2 weeks, according to even the New York Times. And you look at what Jen Psaki is saying. She is saying it's not a crisis. Then she gets tripped up in her words again and claims that it is a crisis, and then tries to walk it back and says that it's not a crisis again. They're going out of their way to blame the last administration, but it's funny because when they talk about how they are going to fix the problem, they are going back and talking about reinstating a similar policy to Trump's Remain in Mexico policy, because this is getting out of hand. And either way, what we do know is that it is affecting the Biden administration. That is why they are taking action. They understand that for the midterms, for 2024, this is going to be a massive problem in terms of the issue of immigration. You can look at this poll right here. Even according to CNN, Biden is underwater on immigration. 43% approval rating, 49% disapproval rating. The non-college white approval rating is below 25%, and the independent approval rating is just 38%, and among registered voters, it is even worse. He is in the gutter, minus 12. So as you can see, this is a problem at the border. Immigration is not one of Biden's strong suits, and if you have a Republican America First movement that is favoring immigration restrictionism, they will gain traction because of this in 2022 at this rate, because there are no signs of this slowing down at the moment. We will see what happens in March. We will see what happens in April. But you look at the numbers here. Within the immigration crisis at the border, it's not looking good for Joe Biden. And at this rate, in terms of what it will mean for 2022, you talk about the issue of immigration. That is what brought Trump to the forefront in 2015 and 2016. If you are going to have a migrant crisis at the US-Mexico border that is only going to give more political ammunition to a potential Donald Trump run in 2024. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Please smash that like button down below, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media, especially Alt Tech. The links are all in the description below. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle, out.